This morning's health segment is sponsored by Advil. In tablets or caplets, Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Last week, we got a look at how some of the top San Francisco 49ers get in shape and stay in shape. And today, Greg Gumbel introduces us to the man who takes out the kinks after a hard day's work.
Boy, does he ever, too, Mark. He is an unsung, unofficial member of the team. But after a game or a tough practice session, he's the man a lot of the 49ers head straight for to straighten things out. On Sundays, everybody's looking to rearrange the 49ers' bones, free of charge.
Watch when his head hits the turf.
During the week, most of the guys on the team actually pay somebody to do it.
His brain sends the signals down the spine and out through the nerves here, and so when these bones twist off center, it puts pressure on the nerves exiting the spine, and it could cause a lot of pain and symptoms and a lot of discomfort.
The guy on his face there is no ordinary Joe. He's the NFL's highest paid player, three-time Super Bowl MVP, Joe Montana. The guy in the white coat has a hand in Joe Montana's success. He's Dr. Nick Athens, chiropractor to the stars, at least the stars on the 49er football team. How many times a week do you do this?
Sometimes twice. During the year, at least once. I try to. Probably twice is better for me, but I get lazy.
In 1986, Montana underwent surgery to correct a herniated disc in his back. He now not only trusts Athens with his spine, he'll actually stick his neck out for him. Joe, is this something you look forward to here?
Oh yeah, the neck's the best part.
Why is that?
You feel like an instant relief.
Head to the right, Joe. There it goes.
Still with us? There's more. Montana also suffers from tendonitis in his throwing elbow.
Relax the arm there. There it goes. Again, it's just pressure being relieved.
You just object when Lawrence Taylor does that, right?
Yeah. I don't like it done when I'm in a uniform.
Neatly summed up, what do you do for him when he comes here?
I remove nerve pressure. I adjust his spine to take pressure off the nerves from the spine. It's like an irrigation system, and that irrigation system goes to the garden, and the garden needs water in order to flourish. Well, if you cut off those channels of communication from the irrigation system to the garden's not going to flourish.
Yeah.
Are you back?
Yeah.
Wide receiver Jerry Rice.
Well, Nick, you know I got extra room in my house if you want to live in.
He's another chiropractic convert. When he threw his back out last year, he knew just what to do.
I couldn't move. I couldn't walk, so I went by to see Nick. We got everything lined back up, and the next day I went back out to practice.
Head to the right, Ross. Perfect.
Running back Roger Craig hasn't missed a game since he started seeing Nick Athens 8 years ago. These days, nearly all the 49ers swear by chiropractic care. So why aren't other NFL teams using it? Partly because of suspicions harbored by team trainers and doctors, partly because chiropractors are looked down upon by most of the medical community. Craig has an answer for all those critics.
It just shows you, how effective it helps. As far as we won 4 Super Bowls in the 80s with it, so it must be doing something right.
I noticed you were close to the chiropractor, but not on the bench with the chiropractor. Did you go through any of that stuff?
No, and it's not because Nick didn't try. Nick has this idea that sooner or later, before his life or mine is done, that he's going to do that. I just have an aversion to having that sound coming out of my neck. Oh. But all of the players swear by it, and to be honest, Mark, it really is no more than that. That's actually, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just that I've always had a little fear of my neck going around in circles.
You should see the people in the studio, they were all cringing and making funny faces when they heard the cracks. One thing I find sometimes in my sleep, if I roll over, I do something to my back. How did Joe Montana come back from the operation in his back to play professional football?
It was to repair a disc, and I think the amazing thing that surprised a lot of people about it is that he came back so soon. There are some people who obviously never come back at all. There is a theory that perhaps if Joe had seen Nick sooner, that maybe he wouldn't have had to undergo the surgery, although Nick tends to discount that. He says that's not entirely true. It depends on the situation. But every single one of these guys go to Nick Athens once, sometimes twice a week, and will always say that without him, they don't feel 100%. He made the trip to New Orleans with them. for the Super Bowl, and saw about 35 of the members of the team either the night before or the morning of the Super Bowl, treated them, and we know how well they performed at the Super Bowl.
Speaking of that Super Bowl, they were like the pit bulls in the NFL in that Super Bowl last year. People are talking about them repeating again. Are they getting long in the tooth, these four?